Hello, my name is Robert, and today's topic will be about the varying perceptions coaches and athletes have about mental toughness. Mental toughness is a very important quality to have in sport context situations, as it gives an athlete a multitude of characteristics such as not allowing personal context or sport context distractions to affect them in impactful ways, or being able to rebound after a negative performance. As defined by Crocker, Rhodes, and Sedgwick in the book Sport and Exercise Psychology, 2nd edition, mental toughness is a skill that allows athletes to cope with unexpected or difficult circumstances better than their opponents. The issue of perception of mental toughness between athletes is less of a problem than the discontinuity in perceptions of mental toughness between an athlete and their coach. For example, we will be looking at the perceptions of coaches and their athletes' mental toughness in elite tennis players. This means that it is an individual sport and therefore mental toughness is more important. In the study conducted by ANSHEL, COWDEN, and Fuller at the Middle Tennessee State University, it was found that elite intercollegiate tennis athletes who played for their respective NCAA Division I school agreed with their coaches on the importance of a few components of mental toughness, but not all of them. There are 6 specific components of mental toughness relative to the sport of tennis: emotional control, ability to address challenges, focusing on the sport event, taking responsibility, having a sense of self-belief and confidence, and having a never-say-die attitude. There are some steps that you can follow in order to improve your mental toughness at the elite singles tennis level. Before a coach has any intention of improving or developing an athlete's mental toughness in any shape or form, they must first discuss with their athlete on what they must find the most important components of mental toughness to be. After this, you can discuss as an athlete to coach as what areas of mental toughness you feel are essential to develop to your sport. Using tennis as the example, if you feel as though controlling your emotion during a match is your primary focus for development of mental toughness because you don't want to constantly break your tennis racket in competitions, your coach will be inclined to agree since it is relative to the sport of tennis. You should know that if your coach does not come to you, you should confront them, because a lack of communication between you and your coach can only make the development of your mental toughness and therefore skill set a more grueling and tedious and nearly impossible task. Not only has a study conducted by ANSHEL, COWDEN, and Fuller shown the discontinuities between athletes and their respective coaches, but also the contrast to the perceptions of mental toughness in athletes conducted by researchers. This shows that mental toughness can be interpreted in many different ways by different people. There are a number of moderator variables in which mental toughness is evaluated, which include gender, sport type, culture, and skill level. It is important for coaches and athletes to be on the same page of which variable they fall under. While it may seem unnecessary and even silly to determine the gender of the athlete and sport type, it is very important to establish immediately that you know what definitions and concepts of mental toughness you will be associated with, as they change within variables. For example, an elite tennis athlete from Europe will have different cultural backgrounds than an elite American tennis athlete. An effective way to make sure you are always on the same page as your coach is to work together and to assess your current level of mental toughness, as it is important for coaches and athletes to agree on the ratings of an athlete's mental toughness. To do this, conduct an evaluation after each athlete's performance to further improve their mental toughness or know under what conditions specific areas to improve at. An example of this would be after a training session, you meet up with your coach to talk about how you are progressing a certain component of mental toughness, and he tells you about your progress. Once athletes develop a level of mental toughness, they must be careful in the task of maintaining it. As mental toughness is not permanent, it can be lost through a number of ways. One example, especially true to tennis, is continued losses. Since it is usually an individually played sport, it takes a great level of mental toughness to not get distraught after many continuous failures that you have only yourself to blame. In order for an athlete to maintain their mental toughness, they have to have the mentality that they can always become a better athlete and that there's always room to improve. That concludes this video. Hope you put the good use of information and tips that you have heard today. you.